Some 4.5 billion years ago, deep inside the solar nebula, when the accretion of terrestrial materials occurred, a unique primordial planet was formed. And our Mother Earth took birth. In the meantime, due to stellar nucleosynthesis, they came to existence. Since then, they exist in our planet Earth. And they are very, very active. And they are radioactive. They are found everywhere, on Earth, in water, in air, everywhere. They are also found in the food we eat, the water we drink, the air we breathe. They are even actively found in our own body too. And they are called as radionuclides or radioisotopes or radioactive isotopes. And their activity or the radioactivity is measured, analyzed and studied here. CARER, Center for Advanced Research in Environmental Radioactivity, Mangalore University. CARER Lab of Mangalore University is founded through the financial and technical support from Board of Research in Nuclear Sciences (BRNS), Baba Atomic Research Centre (BARC), Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited (NPCIL). This premier research centre was dedicated to the nation on June 10, 2016 by Dr. K.N. Vyas, the then director of Baba Atomic Research Centre and the current chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission and the secretary to the Government of India, Department of Atomic Energy.
With the state-of-art facilities, the center is engaged in frontline research on radio ecology and environmental radioactivity in collaboration with Department of Atomic Energy institutions. It is one of the finest examples for successful university-national institution partnership, not only for mutual benefit, but also for supporting researchers from all over the country.
CARER, the National Center for Advanced Research in Environmental Radioactivity. This is a unique lab of international stature with state-of-the-art infrastructure and equipment. Advanced researchers on radioecology, environmental radioactivity, radiation protection and development of new techniques are conducted here under the scholarly and competent guidance of distinguished and eminent scientists of the country.
At CARER, we have taken up very challenging research programs such as standardization of methods for sampling and measurement of carbon-14 and tritium in environmental matrices and transfer the know-how to the Department of Atomic Energy, iodine confinement for loss of coolant accident situation by spray technique, fission fragment removal by wet scrubbing, development of online tritium leak detection system based on Cherenkov detection for application in pressurized heavy water reactors, computational fluid dynamics modeling for stack release and its dispersion.
Sample processing laboratory with sample processing equipments. Laboratory for simulation studies of radionuclides and also stable elements.
I am working on computational fluid dynamics modeling for the dispersion of carbon-14 and tritium released from the stack for different meteorological conditions. We have two powerful computational fluid dynamics software models, Fluidyne Panache and Fluidyne Ventlim, for theoretical modeling. In addition to theoretical modeling, we perform actual measurements of carbon-14 and tritium at different ground monitoring points around Kaiga nuclear power plant using advanced instruments such as MRB 500 automated bubblers and oxidizers.
Liquid Scintillation Laboratory. This is an advanced laboratory to quantify the concentrations of low-energy beta-emitting radioisotopes. This lab is equipped with Quantilus 1220 liquid scintillation spectrometer.
At CARER, we work on developing methods for sampling of tritium in air and water samples. We also monitor tritium concentration at different sampling stations around Kaiga region throughout the year. CARER has advanced facilities such as Quantilus 1220 liquid scintillation spectrometer to measure tritium of extremely low concentration in air and water samples.
CARER has the most advanced low background high purity germanium gamma ray spectrometer laboratory in India. And this laboratory has hyper-pure germanium and sodium iodide detectors with advanced multi-channel analyzers with powerful gamma spectrum evaluation software such as Genie 2000 gamma analysis software. The advanced alpha spectrometer laboratory in CARER having silicon surface barrier detectors which enable the scientists to detect ultra-low levels of alpha radionuclide concentrations in the samples.
At CARER, we study uranium and thorium series disequilibrium in groundwater and in various geological settings. We have 8 surface barrier alpha spectrometers for accurate determination of uranium, thorium and their progeny isotope ratios. We have the capability for determination of anthropogenic radionuclides such as americium and plutonium.
Sample processing laboratory for carbon-14 and tritium measurements. CARER laboratory is in the forefront of the radon research in the country. It is equipped with highly sophisticated radon calibration chamber of 22,000 liters capacity. This is one of the most advanced laboratories in the world and biggest in Asia. The center has developed an innovative technology to generate radon gas in the calibration chamber from the soil gas, which overcomes many problems associated with the conventional technique of use of radium source. 2 scientific articles on this innovation have been published in the same issue of Scientific Reports Journal of Nature.
At CARER, we here perform calibration, intercomparison and performance evaluation of radon active and passive detectors before its field validation. The state-of-the-art calibration facility installed at CARER is one such kind in India and second such kind in entire Asia. The quality of standards for achieving a reference atmosphere, performing experiments and retrieving data is of international level.
Apart from these state-of-the-art laboratories, there are some more cutting-edge instruments. The uranium analyzer, aerosol impactors, handheld spectrometric devices, gamma dosimeters, survey meters, fluoride measuring systems, high volume air sampling stations, etc. It has been 30 years now. Mangalore University has been associated with Department of Atomic Energy and has become an important center of research for nuclear and radiation sciences. Mangalore University initiated studies on radio ecology in the southwest coast of India, including Kaiga region in the year 1988, that is, 11 years before the nuclear power plant became operational. These studies have established extensive baseline database on radioactivity in terrestrial, aquatic and atmospheric environments, and the findings were published in reputed international journals.
BRNS research project on baseline background radiation studies in the environment of Kaiga, and so we have done a commendable job as far as we are concerned, collected a lot of data, baseline background radiation studies, and also we came out with the 2 bioindicators in that studies.
This pre-operational survey has helped us in this, and also simplified the public dose assessment system around Kaiga because of plant operation.
The nuclear power plant became operational in the year 1999, and since then, this center has been conducting extensive impact assessment studies in the vicinity of Kaiga nuclear power plants since last 15 years. Instruments capable of measuring very low levels of radioactivity in the environment are installed in different monitoring points, including several houses for continuous monitoring of radiation levels. Samples such as ambient air, different types of terrestrial biota, food matrices, soil, water, sediment and fish are collected throughout the year in Kaiga region and subjected for radioactivity analysis in the state-of-the-art laboratories. CARER has performed an extensive study on the radionuclide transfer factors for the different food chain. In the vicinity of the Kaiga nuclear power station, using the water drawn from the Kadra dam, and the samples were analyzed for radioactivity. For a comparative study, rice and vegetable samples were also collected from the nearby villages and analyzed. For the first time in the country, grass-to-milk transfer factors for iodine, cesium and strontium were determined for hypothetical emergency situations in field conditions by analyzing grass samples from an experimental grass field and milk samples from adopted cows and dairy farms. These studies have shown that there is no radiological impact of the nuclear power plant on the environment. More than 3,000 data on the transfer factors for terrestrial and aquatic pathways were generated and published. Scientists refer to these publications all over the world, and the data are listed in International Atomic Energy Agency reports. Transfer factors for air to grass in atmospheric simulator. CARER had a challenge to conduct experiments to determine the air to plant transfer factors for a hypothetical emergency scenario based on the requirement of Nuclear Power Corporation of India.
Their studies on migration of elements to environmental matrices facilitate dose assessment using models. From my interaction with Professor Karnakara, who is the principal investigator, reveals that there is no impact of nuclear power on the environment around Kaiga. Such studies will help us in percolating the knowledge among the public and also remove the fear about radiation in the public.
CARER is the first laboratory in the country to undertake systematic study on carbon-14 in the environment of nuclear power plants. This is the first systemic study on carbon-14 measurements in the vicinity of the Indian nuclear power plant.
I'm working on standardization of techniques for carbon-14 measurements in environmental matrices for impact assessment studies around nuclear power plants. At CARER, we have an automatic sample oxidizer for oxidizing the samples for carbon-14 separation from samples. The activity concentration is then determined by super-level liquid scintillation spectrometer. Results obtained at CARER are validated through intercomparison measurements using accelerator mass spectrometer at National Accelerator Center, Spain, and Inter-University Accelerator Center, Delhi and Lund University, Sweden.
Methods based on combustion of samples and liquid scintillation counting technique have been optimized for carbon-14 in stack release, ambient air and environmental biota samples, and CARER has achieved a minimum detection level of 7 becquerel of carbon-14 per kilogram of carbon for 1000 minute counting time. This is the best minimum detection level of carbon-14 achieved for liquid scintillation counting technique in India and is on par with leading laboratories of the world. The method can accurately quantify even a very small increase in the carbon-14 activity in the environment of a nuclear power plant.
I am working on the validation of sample oxidation and liquid scintillation spectrometry based carbon-14 measurements by accelerator mass spectrometry technique and development of reference materials which are specific and representative of environment of nuclear power plants of India for validation of liquid scintillation spectrometry based carbon-14 measurements.
Upon optimization of the technique, the method was employed for carbon-14 measurements in Kaiga region.
At CARER, we are optimizing method for organically bound tritium determination in environmental matrices collected from nuclear power plants by combustion technique and liquid scintillation spectrometry. We have advanced facilities such as Radec pyrolyzer, trio system for the combustion of samples and extraction of tritium. We have participated in the worldwide interlaboratory intercomparison exercise for organically bound tritium measurements conducted by Canadian nuclear laboratories during September 2018.
Through the BRNS coordinated research project, extensive studies were undertaken in collaboration with BARC and NPCIL Kaiga to develop methods for long-term sampling of air moisture for tritium measurements. Through these studies, we have standardized methods and protocols for long-term sampling of air moisture for tritium measurements.
The scientific know-how developed in tritium on carbon-14 and OBT measurements will be transferred to the Department of Atomic Energy very soon. CARER has done a wide-ranging study on airborne radionuclides and their depositional characteristic from atmosphere to Earth's surface in the West Coast region.
At CARER, we are conducting advanced studies on atmospheric deposition fluxes of beryllium-7 and lead-210 in the southwest coast of India. Beryllium-7 and lead-210 are used as specific tracers to study the atmospheric mixing and transport of aerosols. The Arabian Sea is considered a very interesting area for aerosol studies due to its weather patterns.
Technological innovations. Development of indigenous technology for thoron mitigation. CARER has developed a new technology for thoron mitigation in collaboration with Baba Atomic Research Center for use in thorium process facilities. The technology developed by CARER has been handed over to BARC in the year 2015, and the prototype system is being used successfully in one of the DAE facilities.
We have carried out extensive studies on radon and thoron adsorption characteristics in activated charcoal and developed an indigenous technology and a mitigation system for removal of these radioactive gases for workplaces. This was done jointly through RP and AD BARC through a memorandum of understanding.
Development of new technology for radon measurement. A new technique developed by CARER to measure the radon concentrations in soil gas using vegetable oil and gamma ray spectrometry has attracted researchers all over the world. This innovation was done in collaboration with College of Technology, Kuwait. Center has developed an innovative method for instant access to data on radioactivity by developing digital radiation level maps. The data on radiation level can be accessed by everyone, anytime, by using this application in smartphones or computers. The center has an extensive research collaboration with the leading research laboratories of the world and has signed Memorandum of Undertaking for collaborative research with Lund University, Sweden, National Institute of Radiological Sciences, Japan, and Hirosaki University, Japan. In the year 2019, International Atomic Energy Agency and CARER have signed an agreement for collaborative research in radioecology. In the year 2020, CARER has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Indira Gandhi Atomic Research Center, Kalpakam, for studies on site-specific transfer factors.
I am working on Mangalore University Indira Gandhi Center for Atomic Research MOU research project, which is aimed at establishing database on site-specific transfer factors for natural and anthropogenic radionuclides in relation with the identified and established terrestrial environmental pathways for Kalpakam region. This project also has an objective to study the physiochemical parameters of the soil and assessment of bioavailability of radionuclides in soil and develop database and empirical relationship between the soil parameters and bioavailability of radionuclides in soil.
The facilities available at CARER are being used by scientists from about 100 research institutions of India. It conducts training programs very frequently to train scientists and students in radiation measurement techniques to develop trained human resources for the development of the nation in the field of radiation protection. Leading scientists from different parts of the world are invited to deliver scholarly lectures.
Of products, in which case the radon concentration is the same as the progeny concentration, equilibrium factor 1. So then I will have working level of 5500 divided by 3700, which is 1.5, something like 1.5. That is one correct answer, one possible answer. Another answer you can give is, sir, you are not given equilibrium factor, so I cannot calculate. So you could have said that, which is the same thing. Then I will say, okay, you assume equilibrium factor of 0.3 or 0.2.
Of the benzene-derived C14, so this is method C versus method A, the carbazole absorption of CO2. And you can see that, they're still grouped down here at the pure gasoline samples with.
If the aerosols are of fossil origin, then they are free from carbon-14. But if they are from combustion of biomass, or if they are of natural origin, they have, of course, the.
Probability should not include the tritium bound to sulfur, nitrogen, etc., which can be removed by washing with tritium-free water.
So, whereas with some radionuclides we can get a pretty good assessment of an activity by a direct count, with the tritium and carbon-14 we would struggle to do that, and that's why we want some way of
The best way I would suggest is to take a silver plunger and take a polonium-210, polonium-209, their hot activity. Hot activity is like 1 ml, like 100 ppm or something. You take 0.1 ml and then very carefully the micropipette put at the center under a UV lamp, ultraviolet lamp, no, infrared lamp. In the infrared lamp, you put that under, slowly it evaporates. Then you keep putting that 100 microliter and then you directly count it. There is no plating efficiency, it's 100%.
The center offers opportunities to postgraduate students to carry out their project works. Students from all over the country work in this center, undertaking research studies as part of their postgraduate course. The center has organized important conferences and symposia, such as Second International Conference on Polonium and Radioactivity-Lead Isotopes, 20th Indian Association for Radiation Protection Conference, and 30th National Symposium on Radiation Physics. The contributions of CARER in the field of science and technology has been recognized worldwide. Professor Karunakara, the coordinator of the center, was awarded Sir C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award for the year 2017 from Karnataka State Council for Science and Technology, Government of Karnataka. The researchers of the center have won many Best Research Paper awards in national and international conferences.
Studies conducted by CARER on radiation measurements have great social relevance and industrial applications. I wish that nearly 3 decades of collaboration between Mangalore University and Department of Atomic Energy institutions would grow from strength to strength in the coming years. Mangalore University will extend all the support in making CARER an international research center of repute.
CARER has set up a vision to expand its research programs and develop as one of the top research centers in the world for radioecology and radiation protection studies by 2030.